It's encouraging that we've now come to a general agreement with Mexico. What we've got to get now is to get Canada to the table. Really think of NAFTA as essentially elective surgery. It was sort of a pacemaker. It's at the heart of our economic strength as a country. It needed to be updated. We've now gotten part of the work done, but the final work really comes in working out a deal with Canada so that this truly is a North American deal. So the remaining elements have to be added. But now that we've gone down this path, it's good that we've gotten the framework of a deal on the table with Mexico.
Is managed trade something that always benefits the countries involved? That was the Journal's piece yesterday, that Trump's doing everything he can to deregulate the domestic economy, the president, and that it almost seems like there's, I don't know, more paperwork, more red tape to, in terms of a lot of different sectors.
Depends on which part of the agreement you're looking at. I think overall, it makes helpful updates to the existing NAFTA agreement. It clearly, in areas like the supply chains around autos, puts in place new requirements that are more burdensome. Interesting thing to see happen is that for the first time there's going to be a mandatory minimum wage stated in a trade agreement of $16 an hour for a good chunk of the auto trade. That's more than double the U.S. minimum wage. So clearly the U.S. is now putting things on the table that we would not have put in prior trade agreements. Be interesting to see how Congress does it. But overall, there are improvements in areas like digital trade and de minimis requirements on trade at the border. So it's an important and good foundation, but we've got to work out the details now with Canada.
Can we do it without Canada? Could we, is it, look, as far as the law, do we know whether we can do it without Canada? And so who has more to lose? Canada seems like they need to do it, but don't we have something to lose if we don't bring Canada along? Because
absolutely, we have a lot to lose. Look, the reason you're hearing this week as a deadline is because of a requirement in U.S. law, which says that before the president can sign a trade agreement, it has to be available for 90 days before he can sign it. So the race against the clock is a U.S. race because we want to get this done before President Peña Nieto leaves office. But to do this without Canada would be a huge mistake. It essentially would be cutting off our best trading partner from this relationship, and what we need is a united, reinvigorated North America so we can tackle the larger economic challenges in places like China. So I think it's good that Canada is back at the table. They're going to have some tough decisions to make, but we need them to be part of a final deal.
Okay, so let's say, Trudeau, there's an election and he gets all this pressure from Derry or whomever, and so they say, look, we just can't agree to this. Can Trump terminate NAFTA and replace it with a bilateral agreement with Mexico? Is it even possible to do that under existing law?
I think President Trump could terminate the existing NAFTA agreement. It would not terminate all the provisions of the NAFTA agreement, but a new agreement between the U.S. and Mexico cannot go into place without the approval of the U.S. Congress. And I think leaders, both parties, have been clear that they believe it has to be a trilateral deal. And ultimately, that, the president's power is to show both of our trading partners that he can get a deal that can go through Congress. And for that to go through Congress, it really needs to be a trilateral deal of all of North America.
I don't know how we bluff then with Canada. I don't know how we say, well, sorry, we can't walk away then.
Look, we really can't walk away. There's a lot of reasons to think that actually Canada and the U.S. and Mexico can work out their differences still this week. I hope they can. Clearly, Canada has been the loop in all of this, including the major concessions of Mexico. So if we can deal with the handful of thorny issues between the U.S. and Mexico and Canada around dispute resolution, IP, dairy, we should be able to get a deal, and I hope that happens by the end of this week. It's important for the confidence in North American markets.